Hey guys, welcome to What You Requested Felony Friday, where we delve into the mysteries of true crime cases that you requested not just on my channel, but other true crime YouTubers' comments as well, which may or may not have been overlooked. This story today was gotten from Jackie Flores' comments. You guys, just in case you don't know, I love her, always watching her. So the comment goes by the name Sheniaz, saying, please look into the case of Iron Cannon case in Ohio. Tons of people killed him. And I was like, tons of people killed one person, huh? Yeah, I know it happens, but like I was still like shocked. I was like, wow, how come no one has ever covered this? I mean, not even one person. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to do it. Let's swim right in. The setting is Ohio, and we all know how beautiful Ohio is for those who have visited there. I haven't, though. I just seen pictures, and I don't know why I even said that. Like, it sounds like I've been there, but I have never. So, anywho, sorry. Back to the story. So, the setting is in Ohio, and there was a 27-year-old man called Iron Cannon. He has a sister called Tila Ekins, and she always describes her brother, Iron, you may say, as someone who puts a smile on everyone's face when he comes around, and he just brightens up the mood, especially if like there was ever a negative situation to begin with. So he was basically the light of life, basically, that kind of person that always brings sunshine around. So a little backstory about Iron. Iron has actually had a tussle with the law in like 2017, to be precise. Yeah, 2017, for pulling a gun on 14-year-old kids during a robbery him and his friends were involved in. And due to this, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. And I know like it's a bad thing what he did, but like I mean, people do bad things, people change, and just let's move on from it. Like he had already been punished and there were no deaths, thank God. So, I mean, I guess it was just money wise. So, now fast forward to October 18th of 2019. Iron's family feels Iron had learned his lesson and not into that type of stuff anymore, and just living his life. So, Iron is now at home with his family and he tells his sister that he's going out to the club with some of his friends. And then Tila is just like, okay, normal, like every other normal day. Like he goes out with his friends and he comes back home, and then just thinking it was another every other day. So Aaron goes out and he's just having the time of his life in the club. And I mean, I think he went to his friend's house first before they went to the club, or they went to the club before going back to the friend's house. I'm not really sure because the story was just kind of like when I was researching. So I'm unsure whether he went to the club first or if it was after the club. His sister Tila goes on her Instagram, and obviously there are neutrals on Instagram, and just checks his story. So she watches Iron's Instagram story, and then she's wondering why there are some sketchy looking guys that she has never seen before. And she's wondering this because she feels like she knows most of Iron's friends. So seeing those guys sketchy looking, just looking kind of weird, she just lets it go anyways. But she was just wondering why she doesn't know these friends. So she doesn't think anything of this for a while, and she just goes about her night as usual. And she watches Iron's story again, and she sees that these two guys on his story again have guns, and like now they're like flexing the guns like in their pockets. And she gets a little bit worried, and then she's just let it go and thought to herself like she was just going to ask Iron all of this when he comes back home. Like this is not the time to even start messaging or asking. That's even if Iron at that time will even reply. So she just decided that when he comes home the next morning, like he always does, she was going to ask. So she wakes up next morning and she goes into Iron's room, but he isn't in his room. So she goes to ask her parents, and they tell her that Iron hasn't come back home yet. So now she starts getting really worried, and her parents ask her, why are you worried? Like, what's going on? And then she tells them that Iron usually goes out to the club, yes, and he comes back by like 3 a.m. So she had already expected that by the time she wakes up, Iron will be home. So now this gets the parents really worked up, and they decide to ask some of Iron's friends that they know. And none of them seemed to know where Aaron was. And at this point, they decided to contact the police because Aaron's phone was now switched off at this point in time. And he wasn't picking any of the calls that were made to him from his family, extended family, police, strangers' phones, like, friends' phones. He wasn't picking anything. So Aaron's family contacted the police, and Aaron is declared a missing person by the 20th of October in 2020. The parents were so worried that they wanted any lead that would help them find Aaron. Even a reward of $2,500 was placed for any information that would lead to discovering where Aaron could be. The family really hoped that this would at least make Aaron pop up, but his family lost hope after the news got circulated around town and Aaron still hadn't shown up. So they 100% believed at this point that Aaron was dead. This news made Aaron's parents so stressed, so worked up. They couldn't sleep for days, they couldn't eat, and they were just asking people online. They even had some interviews, some news interviews, and they were just asking whoever it is that took Aaron to just bring his body to them, because she was sure at this point that Aaron was dead, because there's no way Aaron is going even one day without calling her. Unfortunately, after a year of agony of this event, Aaron's body was found in Milton Lake, and it was declared that he was shot and killed in an apartment, mind you. This is the apartment that his sister saw him in on the Instagram video. I told you about this earlier, yes, and when she saw the photos and everything, she just started crying. I mean, this was so sad because it took a whole year, and can't even imagine what the family was going through throughout this whole year, a whole 12 months of agony, trying to wonder where Aaron is, what could have went wrong, and they didn't even know where to start from at this point. So the police started by interrogating the people that lived around the Milton Lake where Aaron's body was found, to see if they could find any leads on this case, because this case actually blew up on social media. So the police started by interrogating the people that lived around the Milton Lake where Aaron's body was seen, to see if they could find any leads on this case, because the case blew up on social media around the area. Someone even contacted Aaron's sister, that's Tila, a woman who we don't know her name or if what she said was even true, but she says she's related to someone who knows Aaron's killer, and she even posted a video saying she knows who the killer is. And people sometimes just look for any attention they could get out of any event. I'm not saying that this is the case, but I mean, that possibility cannot be ruled out, because let's face it, if she knew all along, why didn't you just tell the police? I mean, unless she just got to know, but whatever, this information did not help the case in any way possible. So after some days, the police asked Aaron's family for his toothbrush so they could get DNA evidence to be sure the body they found was actually Aaron's. And then they began investigating dozens of people, which eventually led them to find 7 suspects. They traced that Cannon went to an apartment that was on the north end of the city and was not even rented by him. It was rented by someone called Tyrone Randa, and then which led them to the main person who shot and killed Aaron, and his name is Justin Hornbeck. The worst part about everything is they never said the reason why they did this. Some people said that it was because of money. Aaron was owing one of the guys money. Some said that they wanted to steal from him, but they never actually said the reason why they did this to Aaron. I mean, one of the 7 suspects involved was 28-year-old Justin Hornbeck, the main person, obviously. And when this information came out, Aaron's parents made statements saying that this was not a mystery and they 100% planned to do that to Aaron. So the other suspects got caught into this, and I'm talking about the 6 other suspects. Obviously, Justin blotted them out to get a lesser sentence. I mean, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny. It's expected. So Justin was eventually charged with farming specifications. I mean, tampering with evidence, having weapon on disability, obstructing justice, gross abuse of corpse, and engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity. It was just ongoing, guys. It was just ongoing. So Tyrone Randa, a little real estate buddy, I'm kidding, he's not even into real estate or anything. I just said that because he was the owner of the house, rented that got Iron killed. And I mean, that's where Iron was killed in. So he was charged with tampering of evidence with a firearm, engaging in pattern of corrupt activity, and gross abuse of a corpse. And now we're going to move on to the next four people. Yeah, four people. Autumn M. Knight, 28 years old. Marcus White Clark, 55 years old, and Christopher J. Williams were charged with engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity, tampering with evidence, gross abuse of corpse, and engaging in corrupt activity. And then we have one dainty little girl, woman, evil woman to be precise, Samantha P. McCoon, 29 years old, and Antonio W. M. Moore. He was 38 years old. So they were all charged with the same thing, and they were the only two that pleaded guilty to try to lessen their sentence. So before this, I forgot to mention that they were on bond first for $500,000 to $1 million, but they obviously couldn't pay. So I mean, it's obvious what happens next. They're gonna go to jail. They're gonna go to jail. So eventually there was a whole court case, and it was like a huge thing in that town. I mean, so in Ohio, Ohio is in Florida, right? Right? I mean, if it's not, I'll just edit this far out. Justin was sentenced to 3 decades of prison and will probably be out in the 2040s. And it's so sad because that would mean that he could be out earlier on good time in prison, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't really know, but like, I do know sometimes these criminals get released based off of good behavior, like they get released earlier. I mean, I don't know why that happens. Like, me finding out that life sentence doesn't actually mean your whole life, I was mortified. Like, so let me know what you guys think about this case down below. What do you think would have been the reason for multiple people to try to kill one guy? I mean, and he seemed like he's such a sweet guy. Do you guys think that he actually owed them money? Do you guys think that they wanted to steal from him? Do you guys think that maybe someone planned all of this because he had beef with Iran? I mean, it was one person that did the killing, but I feel the other people just tried to cover up because they were friends of the person that killed him. I think that they were friends of Justin or family members of Justin. But why would all of them just involve themselves? Like, he just doesn't make any sense. And I will provide my own 2 cents on your opinion and comment. I mean, and you can also comment on cases you want me to cover or don't, and I'll just find it on another True Crime YouTuber's comment section. Have a nice day, guys, and I love you.